So if I look at general risk implementations, you're a professional, so when you approach any risk situation, and the advice that you can give, potentially, I'll list a few things, but I want to come back to what you've done for Michael Jackson and others. You first engage somebody like yourself. You don't try and protect people, because it's not an easy task to become a capable guardian. So you need to have engagement with a professional security specialist, who obviously works with whatever stakeholders, the senior managers. If it's something that you've investigated and or you have to investigate and there's losses, it becomes data that you can use to analyze better and understand. So if there were breaches, people were motivated enough, you're obviously going to adjust again, but based on what you've investigated. The patterns of people's behavior at a McDonald's versus at a Toys R Us, probably different. Then there's the understanding of where this guy is going to go, so you can do a pre-inspection almost, understand what are the routes that you're going to take. Similarly with valuable goods transport, if you take an unsafe route, I mean, you're just looking for trouble. And then you have to build a relationship, get to know everybody that's involved in that thing. Now, having said all of that, the responsibility to look after somebody who sadly passed away, I'm a big fan, but the responsibility to look after the likes of a Michael Jackson, the preparation, and you've alluded earlier to say that this guy has just appeared. There's not enough time to prepare, but surely you do prep for this in some other way. In any case, what would you briefly describe your process to be like, to prepare for somebody that comes and visit, sometimes unexpectedly?
I think it's more towards talking to his team. Make sure that you've got that channel open. Make sure that you understand what they would like to do. If it's shopping, we had the shopping incident with the crowd, and then we had a shopping incident where he walked on his own, but he covered his face, and he didn't have any bodyguards with him. It was myself and 2 or 3 others that was standing away from him at a distance, and we monitored the situation, and we could monitor it to such an extent that we could see how many people were getting on their cell phones and phoning somebody and saying, I think Michael Jackson is in town. And with a big crowd, that's very difficult to do. So we would, in this case, we had the big crowd scenario before we had him walking on his own. So we learned from the big crowd, saying to him and his team that we don't want to repeat that again.
Yeah.
And we would like to rather go, if he wants to get out of the suite at the hotel and you want to just maybe look around, that's fine. We were in a situation where we could control that situation. So I think open channels with his team, open channels with our team and the hotel, and being able to adjust. I had the rest of the security team on my side, and I had them waiting behind the fire escape door, to just wait for something to happen, and then they would appear quite quickly, and then we would get him back to the hotel. And we didn't venture off far from the hotel. So we managed to share all of this information with his team, and together we came up with a plan that he would walk on his own. And that actually worked much better than the big crowd killing one.
Because one can think if one guy with 50 bodyguards will attract attention. Somebody will think,
Yeah.
they won't know who it is, but they will know that there's somebody important. Let me ask you a trick question. You've never had to catch any underwear that women are throwing at Michael Jackson. You haven't seen something like that in South Africa?
What we have had is journalists
Oh, okay.
with cameras, and the cameras they would just use wherever. So they would pick the camera up and just press the button that takes the photograph, and they will just point the camera in any direction. We had an incident where I think it was a newspaper journalist that came right up to the border of the circle that we had around Michael Jackson, and he tried to break through, push the bodyguards aside and get his camera in and take photographs. And at the time, I think one of the bodyguards grabbed the camera, and this guy then didn't want to let his camera go, so he pulled the camera back and he gave it a jerk, and as he gave it the jerk, he hit the camera on his head. And there was a little cut that appeared, and obviously they used that to
Of course.
to their full advantage.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that sort of thing did happen. And, luckily, it wasn't a big thing.
Wasn't too much blood.
No.